we forgot to talk about this. They said Max's last minute tire change to get fastest lap.
Big eye roll. George Russell energy, and I just like wasn't here for it.
I know. It was
like really.
It was a little like
showboaty and annoying. Yeah, it was.
And I was kind of hoping for like a tire issue, a pit.
Yeah, me too.
I was like,
well, it's just like such a risk. I mean, even Bernie Collins was like, "Why are you doing?" I mean,
yeah. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Fan Behavior and F1 Podcast. I'm Zoe and I'm here with Hannah.
Hey.
I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you miss me?
I did.
I missed you too.
A long time to be away from you.
I know. But good thing we talk every day.
Yes.
We'll text.
Yes.
We even FaceTimed once.
We did. We have big news, you guys. We are going to Taylor Swift.
I can't believe
which
it.
Is so crazy. I know I put out a call to the universe on Instagram.
You sure did. And they answered.
Yeah, which is where you put out calls to the universe. And no one in our Instagram actually came through, but that doesn't matter because you put it out there and then the universe gives you what you need. And we got what we needed, which was Taylor Swift tickets.
At least you finally believe in manifesting now.
I believe in it. I believe in it. I don't always believe that I'm capable of the manifestation.
That's fair.
But my mom
important clarification.
When we were on our trip in Europe, she said that I manifested my life.
You did.
So now I believe it.
Thanks for bringing me with you.
Well, yeah. I mean, you manifested life too. You know,
True.
We brought each other. Teamwork. So
sister signs.
We'll provide content from Taylor Swift, I'm sure.
Have to.
Are you gonna print out your Fernando Alonso picture?
Content, maybe for content. My biggest concern is that like fatheads aren't allowed into the stadium.
I don't even think you need to bring a fathead. I think if you just have you know, what'd be funny? You just have to you should hold up your phone.
Oh, just a pic. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Okay. Yeah.
Just so
remind me.
Okay.
I'll get one saved to my phone so that
have a Fernando shirt.
I do, but it's not obvious that it's him.
Oh, okay. Because I would wonder how many Swifties would be like, oh yeah, that guy's the one that was rumored to be with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I did think about ordering one of those like shirts that we have with like all the different drivers on that. Like, I was thinking about getting the Fernando one, but it won't get here in time.
Right.
So
well, next best thing.
Next time.
So that's exciting. I say that's an exciting personal piece of news.
I just can't believe that it's happening. And when you first texted me,
oh yeah,
I didn't know. As a lot of you know, I'm a new Arsenal fan.
Oh yeah, that's another big.
It's
thing.
going really well. It's going really, really well. I ordered merch because I'm irresponsible. And good. I'll give a further deep dive update into my new fandom at a later date. Okay. But
too much to talk about.
There was a lot on the line with Declan Rice, and it was just, it was a hard first week of fandom. And anyway, when Zoe texted me, she just said Hannah in all caps. Oh. And quite honestly, it could have meant so many things. Declan didn't go to Arsenal. Declan did go to Arsenal. Something with F1, something with friends. It literally could have been anything. And what I was not expecting was we're going to Taylor Swift. And I was like, is someone hosting us? They're not.
No, but we have to pay.
No, but I'm hoping that Travis Kelce will be there and that he'll recognize us because he's a podcast. So I'm sure he just knows of all the podcasters. And then we'll see each other across the room, fall in love, and
we should have a Kansas City based podcast party.
Oh yeah, just you, me, and Travis, and then Jason could come in, and that'll be it. That's all we need, really. And maybe I could wear my Travis Kelce tee to the Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah,
it doesn't really like. It doesn't do the same thing, but I just want him to know that he's got a place here in my heart.
Right.
Anyway, we can move on from that.
No, I think it's important that people know about our lives as well as the lives of people in F1 and what's going on in F1. So I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we get into the recap of the race, sprint weekend, so lots of things to cover in terms of the actual racing, but there's a lot of news.
Lots of news
in the world of F1. And since we recorded our last week episode in advance, we missed some stuff. So let's start with the AlphaTauri, just all the news regarding AlphaTauri, because they're changing their name. Are they going to go back to Toro Rosso?
I don't know.
Who knows? But so I don't know what happens with the branding. And they're going to be changing their car to be like basically the sister of the Red Bull, the younger sister.
Yeah, convenient.
Yeah.
So it's not the junior team.
Well, it will still.
Well, I know, but they're changing the language of it to make it seem like they're more on like even playing fields rather than like these are the baby drivers and these are great movie, by the way. Baby Driver.
Oh, it is a good movie. It is a good movie. Yes. Very, very true. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that car. Like next year, will it be so fast? Will it take a bunch of steps forward because it's going to be pulling from the Red Bull
probably
design?
Does make Daniel going there a lot more interesting.
Right. So that's the other part of it. Helmut Marko went viral once again for comments he made about Nick de Vries's performance. And
he's really sweet to him.
He's so nice. He's the nicest.
He just knows how to make a guy feel special.
He really does. He's so understanding.
Yeah.
And
patient.
Yeah, patient. Yeah, that's his biggest virtue.
Yeah.
He basically said that him and Christian Horner did not agree about bringing Nick on. And Helmut wanted Nick and Christian didn't.
Yes.
And he basically said on a podcast, it seems right now Christian was right.
Yeah.
So basically he was saying like we should have never hired Nick de Vries, which I'm sure he feels so great.
Yeah.
I'm sure he feels
I bet he loves going to work.
Confidence and just
whatever. I mean, having a toxic boss is like one thing on its own. Having a toxic boss who talks shit on you in the media is awful.
Yeah.
And like sure, it's backed up by his performance. Right. He's not doing a great job. He's speaking the truth, but it's like sometimes you don't always have to speak the truth in public. Correct.
You can
keep it in house,
closed doors. Yes, exactly.
No, everyone's aware of the situation, but like let's just keep it in house. Toto would never.
Well, yeah,
maybe he has. I have no idea.
Because now, of course, then Nick's being asked about. Helmut Marko said that they thought they shouldn't hire you. How do you feel about that?
And since he doesn't read the news, allegedly he didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a moment, but
right, exactly.
What can you do? I do think though that Pierre's blue AlphaTauri sweaters will become collector's items and go for a lot of money on eBay now.
That's should we get one?
Yeah,
just in advance. Well, we know
we could start a GoFundMe.
Oh, Carlos got one as a gift last year.
Yeah, he did. Secret Santa.
He's gonna be rich off that sweater if he ever needs money.
Which he really is. He needs some help, so he'll keep that for when he's run out of all his funds.
Now it's like. Oh, and apparently he gave Nick a 4-race, basically till the summer break. Like you got to improve your performance, or there's a risk of you getting replaced at the summer break.
Mid-season. That's why I think my biggest beef with Red Bull.
This changing of drivers.
Can we just get like he hasn't driven an F1 before except for in a Williams, and now you think one time, and now he doesn't even get a full year to prove himself. Like I get it, but also. You brought him up too early, probably. Maybe,
or you
made the wrong call. Yeah. So now because you made the wrong call, he has. I don't know. I'm just like I understand they're a good team who wants to win and keep winning. Yuki's obviously doing a lot better in the car than he is, but I also just don't understand. I mean, it's relative. I'm not saying he's like winning championships, but I don't know. It just kind of bums me out.
Okay, Yuki has I think 2 points.
Yeah.
It's not like. How much of a difference would someone else maybe a lot, but I don't. It's not like they're going to be fighting for higher places in the constructors standings. So it kind of seems like just give Nick the chance. So anyway, what I've heard is Daniel has basically said without saying that he's open to going to AlphaTauri next year, which we've said we were ahead of the curve on that one. But apparently he doesn't want to do a mid-season. Like he's very
and I'm not surprised by that.
Not wanting to do it until next year. And there was reports when all this Helmut Marko, Nick de Vries stuff was coming out that if there was a mid-season swap, it would be Liam Lawson.
Okay.
So, which is interesting because Liam could do so much better than Nick, obviously, but he also may not.
Right.
He is also
and then he's sort of ruined for F1. Because I would imagine would they sign like a long-term contract with him, or it would just be for the rest of the season? Right. So he's kind of shooting himself in the foot if he doesn't do well, potentially.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like you got to take if you're someone like Liam, it's like you got to take your chance when you can get it. You got to jump into it because it might not. Because if he doesn't, if he waits, someone else could get that seat from him. So he'd have to do it. But it's interesting for Daniel because if Liam takes it and does well, then where does he go?
Yeah.
So,
but like if Liam takes it and he doesn't do well, is it career ending?
For who?
For Liam.
Oh, probably.
That sucks.
But it would be even if he did sign at the end of next year because it could happen. What happened to Nick could happen to Liam.
Yeah, that's fair.
To me, it just seems risky to replace a rookie with a rookie.
Yeah, and I guess that's my thing too. Like, okay, so again, if it seems sort of like, especially now that all this stuff about AlphaTauri has come out and how they're, they're going to be better. They're going to be using a lot of pieces from the old Red Bull, whatever. It's going to be a much more competitive car.
Right.
It seems like the whole idea of a Daniel Yuki team, which are we joking?
Yeah.
Incredible. is sort of a shoo-in because he has not said that he would be willing to get back in the car until recently,
Right.
meaning he knows all this information.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't you just let Nick finish out the season, be terrible, have a legitimate reason to fire him, put Daniel in the car and just be done with it?
Right. But I also think there's a lot of people that are like, why have a Red Bull Junior program if you're never going to bring in a Red Bull Junior? Like, why have
That's
all
fair.
this stuff if you're never which I get, but also you have a guy in Daniel who's 8 race wins, 30 something podiums. He has proven that he can do it.
Mhm.
Liam, it's a completely unknown in F1. So he could be amazing and Daniel could be terrible.
That's so true.
But you just don't know.
Yeah. And I like Liam. I mean, I would enjoy seeing him.
I enjoy it too.
And no disrespect, but like, I love Nick as a person, but as a driver, I would rather watch Liam drive.
Good.
No, he
he's
hasn't
not been
good.
My worry is, what if Liam comes in, he does really well, he beats Yuki at the back half, and then Daniel replaces Yuki.
Interesting. But then maybe Yuki can replace Lance Stroll.
Well, Lance did well today.
Yeah, he
this
did.
week, so maybe not.
It was
maybe
the first time for everything.
Yuki can replace Checo.
Maybe Daniel can replace Checo.
That's true.
And Yuki and Liam can drive together.
That's true.
Checo, did you see the and maybe you sent it to me, or I think Macy sent it to us, the comparison of podiums between Albon and Checo over the last handful of races?
Yeah.
That was an interesting data point.
It wasn't it? Well, I think that was the qualifying positioning, or like how they started the race.
Yes.
Qualifying positions. Yeah. I know. It was kind of like
Alex funny. Hasn't Alex beaten out starting grid position Checo the last
times.
3 or 4 races?
But and Checo replaced Alex in the Red Bull. That's what's even funnier.
Oh, you're so right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Lols.
It's all interesting.
Karma.
Yeah, exactly. Or something. Who knows?
To Christian, not for Checo.
Yeah,
Checo,
exactly.
Checo didn't have a say in much.
Exactly. The other big piece of news was the Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney getting 24% stake in Alpine.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Well, jealous. I wish I could just go around buying teams of sports I liked.
I know. Like,
making them better. Yeah.
How fun.
And then make docuseries about them.
Right. Do we think we're
gonna get a standalone Alpine doc?
I don't know, because like obviously with the Wrexham stuff, they bought the team. Like they're the owners of the team, so they have more control over what they do with the team. Whereas obviously now they're just like minority owners. So maybe they don't have and they probably don't want to compete with Drive to Survive.
No, fair.
And also, like, I don't know, what are they going to show us? The factory?
BTS of like Pierre's life?
Well, there's also Esteban.
I guess. I said what I said. Yeah, I guess I'd be curious to see Esteban's life too, but more Pierre.
Yeah. Maybe Otmar's life. That's what we really want.
Bonjour, Otmar. That's what it should be called.
Bonjour, Otmar.
Bonjour, feliz cumpleaños. But I also didn't know that Michael B. Jordan had any stake in Alpine.
Yes,
that's exciting for me.
And he also has a stake
for no reason other than
in a Premier League team. Remember, I told you that.
Yes, which one?
Bournemouth.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
That's what I was
that one.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking. Yeah, it sure was. I never remember. I don't recall hearing about that team before.
Yeah,
but I'm sure they're lovely.
By the way, we're on YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube,
20 minutes in. Did you guys know we have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, we do have a YouTube channel, so you can watch us on YouTube, and you can. Apparently, we are funnier on YouTube. That's what people say.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, so if you want to laugh hard, if you want the jokes to hit a little more,
a little different.
Yeah, a little different. Watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that? Oh, I was gonna say we're gonna like become vloggers basically, I think, and we should do like fun things that YouTubers do.
Okay.
You know, like they do the mukbang.
Yes.
You know, like they eat a bunch of food and like answer questions.
You have to eat a bunch of food.
I know, it's so hard.
Dang it.
Or like other things that people, I don't know, vlog our day, but we should do more stuff that's maybe like not as F1, like other things, and we could do something. We can dive more into your Arsenal journey.
That's good. You know what we should do while we do it? Eat Chinese.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because Chile needs to figure it out. Anywho,
Alpine.
Really excited for Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. I think he's doing a lot of great things. He's very smart.
Yes.
Great businessman. Yes. Very good at marketing. And yeah, I just would love to see him. Maybe we'll meet him one day. You know,
maybe
we have similar interests now.
I mean, yeah, don't we all? I mean, he's friends with Taylor Swift.
It's true.
He likes the sports that we like.
Mm-hmm.
He likes movies.
True.
He likes Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Like Lively.
So I think it's gonna work out.
I'm excited.
Maybe he'll come on our podcast.
That would be great. Yeah. I lost the ability to speak thinking about meeting Ryan Reynolds. Okay, but I was curious because did him and Rob go in together with the same amount of money? Like, did they?
Oh, that's a good
question. Because I felt like there was a lot of jokes about the fact that like Rob, no one was talking about Rob.
Think it's because he's not as famous.
Yeah, I know, but if it's a joint business venture,
I know, but I think it's like on a,
yeah, of course,
it's makes more of a splash.
Yeah, because Ryan is a lot more global than Rob. Rob's
very
American,
but even like, within that, it's like you either know him from Sunny or you don't know him. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't have a lot of other things that he's done that people know him from.
That's a good point.
So, but we can, I mean, he's involved as well, so we can't not acknowledge him.
Yeah. But it's exciting stuff.
It is exciting. And then in some sad news,
I know.
His name is Delano Van Toft, and he passed away on Saturday. Was a Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
It was a Formula regional race at Spa.
I know.
The same. I think it was the same turn.
It was just past. I think where
really?
Antoine. But like I think where he passed was just past where Antoine passed, but it's that
section of
is caused the crash again. And I think it was really wet.
I didn't know that.
I really don't, and I've seen people talk about it. I went to kind of get more news about it and like try to see where the area is. And it's very interesting because I think it's not uncommon for tragedies like this to be like the actual crash to be like on the news, like to see how it happened.
Oh, yeah.
It's very uncommon, I think, or like very frowned upon. Like they will not show the coverage in like Europe and the UK if the result is someone dying from that.
Yes. Well, that's how we know, like on Drive to Survive, even when like if they show a crash, you know that person survived.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was just interesting because I was trying to just get more, like I was Googling it on YouTube and stuff, and not to see a video of it, but to just like see someone trying to explain it. And I was hoping for like graphics of like the course to see where it was. But honestly, the spray was so bad, you couldn't really see how it happened, but I did see bits of it. And I mean, the fact that they were racing at all is insane because even the people who were sitting in the stands, like
drenched,
you couldn't see that well. I mean, it was just really bizarre to me that they allowed it to happen. And I couldn't really tell how the crash itself actually happened, but the way it seemed like with Antoine's crash is again like that tire wall. Remember, I can't remember what race it was that Carlos hit the wall and he kind of started to come back out.
Suzuka.
Yeah, Suzuka. And it's just so stressful because if they start popping out at all, like you do not have time to overcorrect with how fast they're going. So I'll be really curious to see. Well, now I'm just like, I love Spa because I think that it like visually it's a really cool part of the track, and I just think it's really pretty. However, I mean, to have two drivers have a life-ending accident there in the last 5 years.
Yeah, his was in 2019.
It's too many. One's too many.
Right.
And so I'll just be curious to see because I think I can't remember if when Antoine had his crash, was there any rain?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I think a lot can be put on the fact that maybe they just should have red flagged the race for a while or whatever. Yeah. But I also think they're going to have to do a lot
with the track
in way of safety. Yeah. And I'll be curious to see what comes of that. Like if they basically just have to like reroute it somewhat, like if they change the whole path of the track and make it more like if they make that a grandstand area.
It's not going to go to Spa anymore because they already don't want to anyway, but now they have like this, now they can do it. It's a safety concern.
I did hear though that it was, I think, just kind of banter, but on Dax's F1 podcast, they were just kind of riffing about like what Max should buy next because I think he has like a plane and whatever. And him and one of the co-hosts, Jethro, both said that he should buy Spa so maybe Max can just buy Spa and just like use it as a practice place. And
I'm sure he needs it.
Yeah,
he really needs to practice more. But yeah, it was just really sad.
I know, it's awful.
Like I think it's also
was he a Formula 4 driver?
Yeah, it was Formula Regional.
But did he? Well, was he a? Is that his own series? Sorry.
Yes, it's his own series, but he was in Formula 4 too.
Understood.
But he had been in Formula 4. But it's a good reminder to also like when we're watching F1 and we're annoyed that the race isn't starting because there's rain or because we're like, why is this getting red flagged or why aren't they going out? It's like we have to remember that it's dangerous. Yeah, it's really dangerous. And these things can happen and it's very scary. So
speaking of dangerous, very random tangent. Did you see the crash in Indy qualifying this weekend? I'll show it to you later. It's absolutely really bonkers. I can't remember who the driver was. And he got out of the car and like walked away. Good. Shout out to the Halo. But
Yeah.
I mean, literally flew and then rolled like 4 or 5
Oh
times.
my
The wheels
gosh.
completely popped. I mean,
Oh
it
my
was absolutely
gosh.
insane. And I actually was thinking like, I mean, it's already so tragic. Like all of it's so tragic. I literally can't imagine like watching a race when
Oh, I
something
know.
like that
I know.
happens.
It's terrible. It's
So
terrible. Yeah. So
we should cancel Spa.
thoughts of his friends and family and
I know.
everyone is just like really terrible. And you know, safety first, very important. Okay, should we get into the weekend?
We shall. But before we do that, I just want to remind you about our cute little partnership with Fifth Gear Garms. You guys, their stuff is so good. They have a Austria shirt that just came out. They have a new, I think it says all grain no gain, and it's like some of the pit stop crew. I love the pit stop t-shirts. I just think they don't get enough love, I don't think. And then Silverstone Designs, obviously. Silverstone's coming up. So get on there, get some cool stuff. Fan Behavior 10 is our code. I think we have the link in the description.
Link in the description, link in all of our bios on all social media platforms.
Fifthgeargarms.com.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. First up, the real quali, the official qualifying on Friday. Just right off the gate. So many times deleted.
I think I saw somewhere there was like 49 times deleted
in qualifying,
which is
so
insane.
I think we need to do a whole other section, maybe a video, because it's really hard to describe like through audio form track limits. Like you kind of have to draw and like show people, because we got some messages from people being like, "Can you explain what track limits?"
That makes me feel better because it took me a really long time to put it together.
I try to explain it, but I feel like it's hard to explain if you can't like draw out.
Yeah.
But essentially, in its simplest form, it's just there's obviously two white lines on a track, right? And the track is in between those two white lines. You have to keep, drivers will go as wide as they can on some turns, and they have to keep at least a portion of their wheel on the white line. If they do not, if they go outside of those white lines, that's exceeding.
So just one wheel though.
Any part of any wheel has to be on the white line. It can be any part of any wheel.
Okay, but because I think at first when I understood it, their outside tires can't go past it.
Their inside tire. They're coming out. If this is, I'm showing you here. If this is the white line here,
yes,
and this is like their tire has to be. If this is the car,
yeah,
like it has to go it has to touch the line. It can't be here.
Right.
Has to be at least touching. Sorry, I'm showing Hannah. This is not helpful for anybody else.
Well, unless it's on YouTube.
I know, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm sure there's visual things that people can look up on YouTube or whatever that explain it. But Austria is known for people exceeding track limits at like very specific. I think it's turn 9.
Turn 10 was giving people
all time. And so everything was just being deleted. So people would, bump up. They would be in like P3 in qualifying, and then they'd lose their time. They go back down to the bottom 5, and then it just happened all the time, which actually made it very exciting because you didn't actually know if anyone was going to get through or not, because you didn't know if their times were going to get.
Well, and it was taking a minute too, because like the stewards were trying to figure it all out, and you have to because I think there's a sensor that will detect it, but then they also have all the footage to make sure and
clarifying.
Yeah,
and obviously the biggest,
with 49 track limit cases, obviously you've got some.
Right, the biggest perpetrator, that's the right word, of these track limits problems was Checo, who couldn't get out of Q2 for the 4th time. Well, actually, I guess Monaco, he didn't get out of Q1, but didn't make it to Q3 for the 4th time in a row. Do you know it's the first time since 2008?
Yeah, I heard that.
A Red Bull driver hasn't made it into Q3.
It is curious.
Not great. Not great. Not great. And it was so weird because 3 times, like he had 3 chances to get a lap in Q2, and all 3 of them got deleted. And listen, I went on this rant on Instagram, but like I get that it's frustrating that the track limit stuff happens and people get times taken away and all that stuff, but like
it's the rules.
Yeah, it's the rules, and other drivers are able to get through and not have their times deleted. So like clearly, just you have to adjust your driving to not have your time deleted.
Well, and I think it was maybe during the sprint, the commentators kind of made a joke of like being close to the track limits line is a really bad place to be when the track is wet, because it's so slick over there. And when it's wet, they certainly manage to stay away from it, which means you'd think when it's dry, you would also be able to not be a dummy. No disrespect, but I mean, I couldn't do it, but
they say it's like mentally hard to, because they're like, when there's a wall, it's like you can't
touch the wall, right?
But when there's not a wall, you just don't. I get that.
Yeah, sure.
That it's difficult, but again, especially for a guy like Checo, You don't have to push it at 100.
Yeah.
He pushes it at 90. He can still get a time in that's going to get him into Q3
right.
with his car. You know, I understand like if you're Alex Albon or if you're Yuki or someone that has a bad car,
yeah,
you're going to push it as hard as you can because every little bit matters for you to get through. Checo, it's like, just put it together. So that was bad.
Yeah, it was not good.
That was bad. I was like, ooh, yikes.
Then, like, I know that Checo and Nick cannot be compared as drivers. Okay, I'm not saying that. I just want to be abundantly clear about that. But it is too bad that, like, no one's talking about it.
What do you mean?
He's just not. I mean, I just feel like he's not good right now.
Checo?
Yes.
Oh, well, I disagree with you there just because I feel like he rebounded very well today during the race and finished P3 and like he did a good job. He had a strong race. His qualifying performances have not been so great, but I think
maybe I just don't like him that much.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of why you don't like or why you feel that way.
Well, sorry for the
what?
Oops.
No, I mean we're all allowed to have our own opinions. Charles Leclerc missed out on pole by like 0.048 seconds.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's like even if he had gotten pole though, I'd be like, okay, great, that's gonna last him about,
I know
15 seconds in the race and then Max will pass him. But it was nice to see that he was
smiling.
He was up there. He was fighting.
Yeah.
You know, that's all we can ask for these days with Charles Leclerc. Lance out-qualified Fernando.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking a lot about Lance's performances. So he was coming in, you know, strong.
Yep.
And then strong qualifying from Hulk.
Yes.
Pierre and Alex.
Yeah.
Alex making it into Q3. Pierre
he did really
qualifying
well.
Esteban. And Hulkenberg getting into Q3 as well.
Yeah.
He's been like very good this season.
Yeah.
I've been impressed by his, which is always so interesting. It's just funny how like perceptions change so quickly.
Yeah.
Like Daniel beat Nico pretty substantially when they were teammates.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, but then he got out. Now he's back in and he's doing very well. And everyone's like, oh, he's so great.
Yeah.
But then everyone's like, Daniel shouldn't come back. He's terrible. It's like, okay, well,
he's probably going to win the championship when he comes
right. Or like, it's just funny how quickly people's perceptions change of these drivers. Just based on like, it's always just, if you're driving well, you're great.
Yeah.
They forget about when you were bad or vice versa.
Totally.
You know? Anything else from qualifying you want to touch on?
Not really. I did think it was funny though, with like even Max, like anytime Max complains, I just think it's funny. Like, these track limits are insane, man. Yeah, so stop going over the line.
Yeah. Stop
exceeding them.
Yeah.
And then you won't get called about it.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, I just felt like everyone was whining about it. Like, keep your car in between the lines.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I realize it's easier said than done, but like,
but it's the rules.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing. Everyone has to, okay, this is such a tangent.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw some article about the Eagles, football team. I know. Sorry. So
I'm here for it.
This past year, obviously, well, it's every year, but the Chiefs played the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
And
there was a lot of complaints. I think you probably remember about the field being slippery. Do you remember how everyone was slipping all the time and because the big logo and it was just bad? And I saw some article recently about an Eagles player complaining about he was basically saying like if the field wasn't slippery then like we would have, and it's like
that's how it works.
Well also the Chiefs were playing on the same field. It was slippery for them too. Like it wasn't like you only had the slippery field.
And if you're not a good football team when the field is slippery, that's a problem because you're gonna come across a slippery field at some point. You know what I mean?
You're not the only, like everyone's playing on this.
Right.
Literally, it's a level playing field.
Yeah. Right.
So, and that's how I feel about this. It's like everyone's has to follow the rules.
Right.
So,
and I would say too that like this seems to be like this weekend seems to be the most consistent the stewards have ever been about dishing it out to not everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But most people pretty
would say otherwise.
Consistent. Yeah. Well, Lewis would say otherwise about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
They had the work cut out for them this weekend.
Exactly. So then we had we had sprint qualifying, which was, you know, fine.
Yeah.
Again, Max won that and got pole and congratulations to him. Then we had the sprint race.
Awesome.
Was great.
So fun.
So great. I think Austria is a great place. They had the sprint race there last year as well. And it's clearly, I think they've identified like Austria and Brazil are two really good places to have sprints because the tracks are shorter. The racing is better.
Yeah.
But really, I think what made the sprint so good this time was the rain.
Yeah.
Because usually in a sprint race, they don't pit.
Right.
But because of the rain, everybody had to pit.
Right.
Which spiced up. And it was when do you pit? When do you change out? That really added another layer.
Totally.
That I don't think is typically there in a sprint race.
Yeah, it was fun.
That made it really fun. Nico had P2 for like a little while.
Yeah.
Which you knew I was like, this is, I mean, you know, watching the clock, like how much longer is this going to last? And then he just kind of kept.
Yeah.
But
he did a great job while he was up there.
A while, and that was great.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just felt like the whole and just the battles all around, and people were fighting for different positions. I thought was really great. Charles did get that grid penalty prior to the race, sprint race.
Yes, I forgot about that.
For impeding, I think it was Oscar Piastri.
Yes.
Like great, another thing for him to have to deal with, but whatever. And then do you remember that Lance Fernando battle?
Yes.
That was
it
spicy.
Lance that said too, like, we don't need to waste time with racing or lose whatever by
classic
fighting each other. I was like, okay.
I mean, they raced to the line.
Yeah, they did.
That was pretty good. I was enjoying that. So that was fun. I enjoyed the sprint race. Where's the next sprint? Do you know? I know there's one in Austin. I know there's one in Brazil. That's 4. There's 2 others.
I don't know where the next ones are.
Maybe Monza. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be excited for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else from the sprint that you can think of?
I don't think so. It was fun though. I really enjoyed watching it. I did think it was funny that Valtteri came out. I think he came out on mediums, and he was literally the only one, and then immediately boxed. Like, I think he boxed after the formation lap.
Oh, he did. Yes, and it's like, yeah. I mean,
I didn't even know that was something you could do.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously no one really does it.
Do you remember what race was that? I think, I don't know that you would. I just remember from Drive to Survive. There was that race. It was Hungary, where the race, it was wet, and everyone starts the formation lap on intermediates or something. And then they all went into box, but Lewis stayed out. And remember, he was the only one. But the track was dry. So then he was like, I'm the only one on wets. And then he had to pit the next lap. So then that was, I think, the race Esteban Ocon won.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, that always makes things interesting.
I can't remember if this might have been in the race, so I might be early, but I've also never seen them have to take the safety car through the pit lane.
Oh, that was the race. Yeah.
It was a race?
Yeah.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah. Exciting.
Something new.
Yeah, something fresh. I bet the pit crew was like, ooh.
Yeah, neat. Hi, guys.
Yeah, so fun. Okay, let's get to the race.
Okay.
So again, track limits. I mean, it's like there should be a ticker, like track limits.
I mean, Crofty was just like, I don't even know what to, I'm running out of paper.
Notes. Yeah. All the different. I think I actually took a screenshot. Let me see if I have it. I think I took a screenshot of the of all the penalties, or maybe I didn't. No, I was gonna have. I think there was like 80 something from the race itself. I mean, it was like every 5 seconds, it was like Yuki got one, Carlos got one, Pierre got one, Lewis got one.
And what is it? You have 3. Is it 2 warnings of exceeding track limits, and then the black and white flag is like your third strike,
and then
5 second
penalty. Yeah, and then I think.
And then did they start over, or then do you get?
I actually read this. I think I screenshotted this. Yeah. So after 4, I can find it. Okay. The stewards came out and they explained their
as they should, because this
breakdown of these different penalties. And then did you see that Yuki got a penalty for serving it wrong, which is
annoying because it's his pit crew that served it wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming, because usually it's because someone touched the car too soon, right?
Yeah, which is just tough.
Yeah.
So this is what they said. So 4 infringements is 5-second penalty. 5 infringements is 10 seconds. Then a reset has been allowed due to the excessive number of infringements. The counting of infringements restarts. So this is too complicated.
No, it's not. It makes sense. It's also just dumb though. So like if you get to 5, you start over.
Yeah.
Which means you then have 4 more turns of exceeding track limits to get another 5-second penalty.
5-second penalty will apply after 5 to 10 second. Then the thing says, the stewards very strongly recommend that a solution be found to the track limits situation at this circuit. Or maybe the drivers should just adjust themselves.
Huh.
I don't know. Why am I on the side?
No. I'm that was a sarcastic, because of course that's the reason. Like, why are we adjusting the rule book because this track is hard for you? Like, sorry. We like a challenge.
Yeah.
It was fun. Also, again, they stayed within track limits when it was rainy because it's safer to do that. So your brain's obviously capable of staying within the white lines.
Yeah. Do it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
instead
we'd be tough. We'd be tough ones. If we were in charge, we'd be like, sorry
about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, just this one track, you're going to change the rules? Because does that mean that like any other track that gives you beef, you can just change? It's just silly because Alonso, like there are plenty of drivers who never exceeded track limits today. I don't
think Charles Leclerc did.
And I don't think Alonso ever did. So it's just kind of like buzz off.
Right.
Stop being a show off, you know, like
or penalizing people who for doing it wrong rather than rewarding the people who do it right.
Amen, sister.
So anyway, Lando did very well.
I was so happy for him.
So he had the McLaren upgrades. Oscar did not. Oscar was deep down there in 18.
He sure was, but what it did show me is that the upgrades have done something nice to the McLaren. And I'm really excited for Silverstone.
Yes.
Because what I would like to happen, and just to be clear, like I don't expect Max to not be on a podium ever. Like, you know what I mean? He's just like he's just gonna live there, I think. But I would really like to see Max, and I know a lot of people are gonna prefer Lewis, and that's fine, but I want to see Max, George, and Lando.
Okay, well, but if we can just in a perfect world, let's just have it be Lando, George, and Lewis.
Yeah, he kind of pissed me off today. He was just being whiny.
But Max pisses you off too for being whiny. So
but Max is literally never not going to be there. It just feels irrational.
In a perfect world,
sure.
Let's have all of the Brits on there. I mean, Alex is technically a Brit, but he didn't race under the British flag, unfortunately for him.
Or for us.
Yeah,
I think he's fine with it.
Yeah, that's
how he got money and was able to, stay in the sport.
Very true. Yeah, so I was very, very happy for Lando, and he did great, and he got P4.
I know, and he'll have to change his Instagram post because he did. He did? I haven't seen it.
Yeah. And yeah, do you want to speak on Lewis being annoyed? I know you have some thoughts.
Look, that's really all I have to say. It's just like I don't like when they all get whiny about it. Like I get these penalties. Sometimes I think he has a lot of reasons to feel like people are out to get him.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that there's a very valid history of people being out to get him. And I'm not saying that mindset is wrong. Mm-hmm. But we also have a laundry list of all of the other people who exceeded track limits and were getting penalized. You're not on your own in this issue. And I mean, to hear, and I realize that when we're hearing the onboard comms, like we're only hearing a very small snippet on the race coverage than what's actually happening. So we're probably missing some context and they're showing the most entertaining ones. But for Toto to just be like, we get the car sucks, just drive it and like shut up.
Yeah.
To me, that goes, okay, well, Toto's hit his limit. So I can only imagine how much Lewis is just in everyone's ears about it. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. But they all, I have to, not to defend Lewis necessarily, but Lando kept being like, Lewis is going off.
I know. He was a huge.
Everyone is kind of like being a snitch essentially and calling each other out and being like.
And maybe I just like, in a way, like have a higher standard for Lewis that like just.
Well, you also are more like easily annoyed by Lewis too.
That's true.
You so I think like it's the same thing with Max. Like anything Max does that like annoys me, I'm like, shut up. I'm totally more easily frustrated with Max. So. Yeah, but I feel like also Checo, because Lewis kept calling out Checo.
It is weird that Checo never made the cut.
Never got a penalty.
Did he get a flag though?
I don't know. I can't remember.
It was
literally so hard to keep track.
I think he did because I was keeping I was keeping notes in my phone and I literally put a checkered flag next to everyone who got a black one. And I think I remember putting one next to Checo, but he didn't get a penalty, I guess.
Yeah. Nico was the only DNF, right, of the race.
Yeah, which was like such a shame because he did so well. I didn't expect him to be like high up on,
leaderboard, but yeah.
Yeah, but to DNF after all the stuff he did this weekend is a real bummer. But that's the Haas way, I think.
It is definitely the Haas way. Ferrari was strong.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of like Carlos, Charles, whatever.
Yeah. I think there's always going to be a little of that. But because to be fair, like Carlos did have better pace than Charles did there for a second, but then
and I remember the announcers were like, well, it is because he has DRS, like he has Charles DRS, but Charles doesn't have DRS, so of course he's able to like stay where he is. And then to Charles' benefit, Carlos kind of kept Checo back in their battle, which was good.
Very kind of him.
But
and then their pit stops are kind of crash. Weren't they?
I don't
like 4 seconds.
Well, there was one Carlos had to do a penalty, serve a penalty. I don't
that one, yeah. But I feel like when their first pit stop, I think they were I remember Carlos just being really irritated that they did that to begin with. He was like, we should have stayed out. I think it got them pushed back a little bit.
Positioning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But the racing
again,
was
that's the Ferrari way. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, very good. And like everyone, I think they kept saying like how just like everyone was racing with each other and no one.
There's a lot of good battles, like across
and I really feel like even though we say like, oh, Nick's not very good or whoever, there is no Nicholas Latifi. In all respect to Nicholas Latifi, there's no Nikita Mazepin. Like the level is really high.
Yeah.
And everyone I think is pretty good.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that's hard with this stuff is standalone. They're all incredible. That's why they're there. Right. You know what I mean? But there's just, when they're all so good, it just becomes very obvious who's at the bottom of,
right.
The greatness.
The tire strategy was funny too. Like 2 stops, 3 stops. Did you hear when Ferrari was like, Charles, you want to do 3 stops? He was just like, no.
And then I think they did, didn't they? Or did they not?
Remember. I honestly, again, it was too much to keep track of.
Yeah, I know.
But
we had a busy weekend.
I don't think that they did. I think they did a 2 stop.
That was funny though. He was just like, no.
Yeah. And then Yuki had a terrible race. I think he had like 70,000 penalties. I would have loved to have heard those radios.
I know. We really need to get F1 TV.
I know. That's so true. Also, when Alex got his 5-second penalty, apparently they weren't telling him that he was.
I know.
Which is weird.
I think that's really weird too. Because like they weren't telling it. Sorry, we do that thing where we just like, I know what you're going to say, but they wouldn't tell him. He just found out that he got the black and white flag, not that, or the penalty, not that he didn't get all the warnings from his race engineer, which I think is a real dumb thing to do, because if he doesn't know he's doing something wrong and he's doing well, he's going to keep doing the thing wrong because it worked the last 4 laps.
Right. It was so weird.
Then he gets 5-second time penalty.
I did not get that at all.
Same. He didn't either, which is why he yelled at his engineer. Rightly so, I think.
Yeah. And then there was a bunch of penalties after the race ended that like all funneled out. So then the whole order got changed around and Carlos dropped to like P6 and Lando moved up to P4. And it was just
a good number for Lando.
Yeah, it was crazy. Anything else from the race that you wanted to touch on or talk about? Or
I don't really think so. I was trying to think if there was. No.
Okay. It was good though.
It was good.
All right, let's get to our podium. I keep saying podium.
It's okay. We can call it that.
It's
podium pyramid.
Pyramid.
What's a podium period?
So at the bottom of the pyramid is track limit, and just the term.
Yeah, just the term. I mean, I'm bored of that
because it's just no more. We're done.
Yeah.
Let's all just stay in the lines.
I just want to be clear. It's not the rule, because I think the rule is important.
We're actually fans of the rule.
Yeah, I love the rule. It made today fun, but I just don't want to hear that. Let's just call it TL or something.
I think it's controversial that we like it, but
don't care.
I think our stance is clear. So you can.
Why is it controversial?
Because I think people are just like. I think people feel like, well, if everyone's breaking it, then clearly this is like not the best. Clearly something needs to change with like the track and the layout and like
that's fine. You can move the line, but I don't think we should change track. We shouldn't change the rule. If you need to change the track to suit the rule or change the setup of the car to suit the rule, that's fine. But we can't just go around changing rules like that. I mean, there are some rules, I think, from like a safety perspective and other things. I don't know. I'm sure whatever. There's a million people who disagree with me, and that's fine.
That's fine. That's why ours is controversial, but that's cool. The next thing, I guess, at the bottom of the pyramid is AlphaTauri just in general.
Yeah.
Just bad. Nick was not good. Yuki was,
not as good. Yeah. Also not good.
Not good in general. So better luck next week. And then the other one at the bottom, which is he did well, but it was just an unfortunate ending, is Nico Hülkenberg.
Yeah. Hülkenberg.
A tough way to end.
Big bummer.
Yeah, because he had a good weekend, but it was a tough way to go out. Middle of the pyramid, we have Ferrari.
Yeah.
Strong weekend. I mean, I know they probably wanted
stronger than yesterday.
Stronger. Yeah. Like Britney Spears said.
Yeah.
They probably wish that they probably thought they could have gotten 2 people, both of them on the podium.
Yeah.
But P2,
better luck
strong, and P4, good. So better.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, not P4.
Oh, that's right. P6. Yeah.
But it was cool while it lasted.
Yeah, it was fun for about a couple hours. And then Checo, just given his, bad qualifying, but then making it back to P3, I felt like was a solid race, and like it was damage limitation from Checo this week, so I think his job is safe.
Yeah. Oh, one of the things we didn't talk about is when he and Max had their little tiffy tiff, but they seem to really resolve it after.
I mean, yeah, if they can get through what happened last year in Brazil, they can get through anything. So
fair.
We'll see. And then the top of the pyramid is Lando. Happy for Lando. Great performance.
We're having a Lando moment. I mean, he's just hot right now.
It's a good time for him. So congratulations, Lando. And I'm sure he's excited to go to his home race and
Did you see his neon green merch?
Mhm.
It's something.
Yeah, it's bright.
Something to behold.
It's very bright. He says it's so that you can see him, or he can see them in the stands, which is kind of fun.
Mm.
Okay, fan and foe of the week. Do you have a fan?
Yeah. My fan is that, honestly, it has nothing to do with that fun, but I thought we're going to Taylor Swift. It's F1 adjacent because Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, because I mean, we could come up with some other random ways in which it ties into F1. Yeah, it's so exciting.
I'm so excited.
It's so exciting.
I just like really gave up on the idea that we would even go, so I'm thrilled.
Yeah, it's very fun. So next time you guys hear from us, we'll have gone to Taylor Swift. Maybe we should do a bonus episode about bonus YouTube video.
Yeah, we probably should.
Maybe we can do a vlog.
Okay.
If we think about it.
Yeah.
Remember. My fan is Lando. And his performance, just from where they were at the beginning of the season, so terrible, like P18, like not good at all, to where he was today. And like actually like on merit, you know, it wasn't like he like lucked into that finish. I feel like he earned it. So happy for him.
Yes.
And then my foe. Do you have a foe?
I didn't come up with this before we started, but I do have one.
I
just was apologizing for my gap.
Oh.
It's just Haas and like it bums me out that like you get, because I love Haas, but that we're getting like so close to something good and then it gets taken away from them has just been a bummer. And I feel like since we've become fans, that's sort of been like their story.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see that they're getting better, but I'm bummed to see that they can't
get to the
keep
next
it.
Level.
You know?
Yeah, I know. My foe is just like Helmut Marko needs to shut his mouth.
Yeah.
Like it's not that what he's saying is not correct. It's just like stop
time
talking.
and place.
Stop going and like he puts his foot in his mouth all the time.
Well, and he's like slandering his own people. It's like,
and also it's just like stop. He's but also like come on our podcast because he'll
for sure bring the tea.
Fun thing.
So that's an interesting take though.
Less on Fan Behavior Podcast.
Good call.
And you can talk all you want.
It's a really fine point.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to some of the questions, comments, things from
that.
What?
So many people.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I did not hear what you said.
Oh.
Things from our listeners. So I'm just going to run through this. Someone said whether Carlos should have been allowed to overtake Charles. I don't think he wasn't allowed. I don't think they ever said don't overtake. I just don't think they said yes, you are free to race.
Yeah, I think that's fair. At least because from what we heard, it sounded like there was kind of this like coded message of like, what are your thoughts on the pace? And he said, you know what my thoughts are. I shouldn't have to answer that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like when it got to it, I don't think actually Carlos was driving better than Charles today.
You don't think?
I don't think so. Oh, okay. So I think it makes sense that he wasn't allowed to overtake him.
Right. Someone said FIA not including Perez's track limits. Yeah, interesting.
Well, then this is where it gets really hard because it is and it isn't. I think he did exceed track limits, but he didn't exceed the number of track limits that you can exceed.
Right.
Allegedly. I don't know.
Macy, our friend Macy said, pour one out for Yuki's race today.
It was a real bummer.
It was tough. He's had some tough ones.
He really has.
He's really been through the ringer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially after losing his social media guy to Ferrari.
First lap.
Yeah, had to get a new front wing, right?
Yeah.
Bless him. And we never heard his comms. He must have been cursing up a storm today. Because otherwise.
Well, no, he did say I've got damage. We did hear that.
Good point. Good point.
And then it was like, fuck.
Yeah. Got damage.
Something like that. Aston Martin, there seems to be a lack of pace at the moment. Yeah, they're kind of like not where they once, maybe it's track specific and other teams have kind of gotten better, but they're not. I don't know. I'll be curious to see like if they start to fall back, if like Ferrari and Merc get better, and I don't know.
Yeah, I also saw, I don't know if you saw this, but on the Aston Martin Instagram page, I saw this reel. Did you see the reel of the woman? Her and her husband sold their house and they're following F1 around the world this year.
Should we do that?
I don't have a house to sell. But yeah, if anyone wants to sponsor our trip, that would be really fun.
That would be fun.
There's some tracks I like don't really want to go to though.
Oh, okay.
But I'd still do it.
We forgot to talk about this. They said Max's last minute tire change to get fastest lap.
Big eye roll. George Russell energy, and I just like wasn't here for it.
I know. It was
like really.
It was a little like
showboaty and annoying. Yeah, it was.
And I was kind of hoping for like a tire issue, a pit.
Yeah, me too.
I was like,
well, it's just like such a risk. I mean, even Bernie Collins was like, "Why are you doing?" I mean,
yeah.
It's just so really.
I know.
You're what 25 seconds ahead of everybody, and you just wanted to be like, yeah, you're still catching up to me. And while you were doing that, I got new tires and got fastest lap. It's just
I can understand it if you're like down to the wire and maybe the points difference is like.
But he's not.
So I know. So, but maybe that one point will make a difference for him. We'll see.
I doubt it. Did Lewis say? Because I saw someone post about this, but I didn't. It was out of context, kind of. But did Lewis say the sprint race doesn't mean anything anyway?
The sprint race?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear that. I don't know.
Shady shite.
Let's see. I mean,
they've all kind of said that.
I was gonna say, like, I know a lot of the drivers don't love the sprint races, but I didn't hear what he said about this time. Let's see. Yeah, someone did say they make Hamilton seem like the only one who's whining. I don't know if they make him seem that way, but they definitely. I mean,
I sort of feel like they shared that one because Toto came on the radio.
Well, also, I mean, we also forget it's a sport, but it's also a TV show, and they're choosing audio and videos,
No, I agree. And that's what I said earlier. Like
as a defense, but I'm saying like there's a reason why they focus on certain drivers over other drivers, and like
they pick the entertaining ones.
Yeah,
and
you don't often hear certain people's.
Well, because I heard again on the F1 podcast with Dax, like I think the number of radio communications during a race is insane. Like I think
they're talking all the time.
Esteban once in a race had like 500 communications.
Oh, interesting.
And so, I mean, we maybe hear 10, 20 in a race, probably more than that, but like, we're definitely not hearing all of
nearly as many as,
which is why we need F1 TV.
Right. Most people just also want to talk about track limits, which we already did. So we're not getting into that anymore. We're done.
No, because it's at the bottom of the podium.
It's at the bottom
pyramid.
See, it's so easy to keep saying that. All right. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up?
I don't think so.
Okay. So we got Silverstone.
I'm excited.
It's my favorite race.
I can't wait to see who's there. I hope Tom Holland's there because, he loves London and Lewis Hamilton and Formula One. I don't. He gives me the heebie-jeebies.
I'm just kidding.
But I hope there's someone good with waving the checkered flag. I hope we get some good. We have to watch the grid walk, obviously.
Oh, for sure. Cannot miss.
And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. And I think we might go to Silverstone next year. So I just want to like scope it out.
Yes. Yeah. Good time for me right now. Wimbledon starts.
I know.
Well, it started when this podcast comes out. Silverstone, Taylor Swift. Things are happening.
Wow. And what a weekend. We're going to watch Taylor Swift and then watch Silverstone.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Blessed.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe our YouTube channel.
Wow. We have a YouTube channel.
Star. Comment, message, star. You star the Spotify. Like you press the stars.
Oh, excuse me. I'm an Apple Music girl.
I guess you star there too. You do the 5 stars.
That's true.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No. Love you guys a lot.
Okay, guys. See you next week.
Enchanté.